Yeah, I think we are. I just hadn't pulled my mic down. Right, hi, how's it going? Sorry about that. Songs made up of patterns, made up of tracks, made up of presets. That's where we're going today, I think. But we're looking at, this is for Hector um, initially, but for anyone who's interested in looking at how to use this real-time grid and step mode to record. Now, again, this is not a tutorial where I'm going to have lots of teaching you how to do it. This is just exploring what I've found so far. I'm looking at particularly using grid recording on a sequence in a pattern, and if that's the right way to say it. So what I'm going to do is have a quick look at how to make a sound that continues to play and just goes round and round and round, a bit like a drone. Yeah. And if we can do that, that'd be great. So what I found so far, this is just so far. Got to look at gate timings, envelope settings. Currently, I'm thinking this is sort of what you were after, Hector, which is just I've got a sound, a preset. This is my synth. On this sequence, it's only got one note that it plays, and it plays this. I know it's varying in the background. That's just because I've altered the settings of the noise. And then we stop it. And it slowly fades into the background because of the settings of the voice. So maybe I should choose a different preset. Oh, that's a bit weird. And let's see if we've got. I want the preset that continues to run, so I don't have to start. We'll try with that one. So there's a sound, you press it play, and it stops. Let's see how that works with the sequence. So that just continues to play as like a drone. So we can use this to show the example. So what's going on here? Well, if I go into record real time, first press, second time into grid, and then go up to pattern, and then scroll through. And I'm looking for this event. Stop. Let's have a scroll through, and it says no events in track, but it's just played something. Yeah, so if we listen to it again. So, I don't know why that's doing that actually. See, I'm learning something else again now. It didn't do that for me before. If I press play and then press play and record at the same time, that should take me straight into grid mode. There it is. Okay, so that's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't in pattern mode when I put it to grid. So that was my mistake. I was in preset mode. So when you press record for preset mode, nothing happens because I'm in preset mode. I need to be in pattern mode. Lesson learned number 1. Be in pattern mode when you choose your record type. And then you can set your various options. So let's have a look at this. I've got a tempo 60, doesn't matter what the tempo is. Excuse me, that was my microphone. I'm on track 1. I'm on record plus. You can also do replace to get rid of the stuff that's already there. If I do this now, let it count through its 1 bar that it's recording, and stop, and now play it. Now there's nothing on the track because I've just replaced what was there, which was 1 note. So let's go back to grid record now. Yeah, so I hope you get that on let's have a go there. Record plus is its normal, and what it'll do there is add to whatever's there, so it's like an overdub type mode. Before I start recording, I want to get this bar 1.3 back to the beginning, so I just double press on stop, and that takes me back to bar 1, note 1, or measure 1, I apologise, measure 1, so it's bar 1, measure 1. If I click on record, it's going to quantize at the moment to half notes, and you can do that whole notes or off. So in theory, if I do whole note, it'll only put 1 note in, and it should put it at the beginning of the bar. Let's try that. So we're in real-time mode, play, and let's see what's happened there. So it's playing exactly on the beat at the beginning of the bar, because quantization was on whole. So let's go back to real-time record again. I'll go to replace and put it on half and go. Oh, put it on grid. Go back again, real time, record plus on half, play. So it's recorded both of those. As for timing, because it's on quantize to half a note, it's put 2 perfect notes in there, perfect note timings in there. So let's have a look at that, go into grid. When we go to grid, we've got this little grid thing here. And depending on your note length settings, etc., which I've not fully understood yet, and your quantize settings, you get these notes. So when it plays, if I stop there and play, sorry, to go into grid recording mode from play, you have to hold play and record. That's what I meant to show you. So it's playing at the moment. If you want to go straight into record mode without having to stop, you can press play and record. It takes you to this grid mode. And in this, then we can alter these, can't we? So you can use either the keys here, so you can take that one off, put it back on, take them both off. You can put a number of notes, yeah, because they're acting as note triggers, if you will. Yeah. The other way we can do it, again in grid mode, is to turn up each of these controls goes to be a note on the system, so you can alter the velocity as well, so how the thing hits with each of these. Yeah, so we can do it that way. And I wondered, like, well, what if I hold a note? If I don't have quantize on, in theory, should I not just be able to hold a note and it'll play all the way through? So we'll try that. We'll go to real-time record. We'll have no quantization at all. Record plus is to add something into. We're on real time, as I said, and I'm just going to press and hold the note for the full bar. Right, so now there's a gap in there. Let's have a look at that in grid record. So it didn't start recording it till there because of the lateness of me pressing on that. So let's try it then. If I put real time and put the metronome on so I can hear when the bar is, I take us back to the beginning. So on 1-1. I'm on real time, so if I hold the note in at the right time, maybe it'll record the whole thing. Let's have a look. That's as good as I can get it, but there's a bit of a weird click. So let's have a look. Go into grid recording. It's got 2 notes now. So I must have pressed it at the wrong time. By the look of that, I probably pressed it a little bit early. So let's get rid of that note, which is that one. And let's have a listen. See, it stops again. And this is the frustration, I assume, that you're talking about, Hector. So it is frustrating, that. And I wondered how to do it. So I thought I'd have a look at the actual recorded events. In the command station, you've got your presets, then your patterns, then your songs. But the patterns and songs record events. They take the preset name, whatever you give it. So that's that one on that particular channel, channel 1A. And then they record events that happen, and an event can be a note pressed, on, off, volume, all sorts of different, anything that can happen via MIDI, that they're all events. So each time a note comes on, like we've got a note there at the moment, there's an event for it. So let's go and have a look at that event. All right, we know it's D3. D3 is the note I pressed. Yeah, if I press the C3, there's none there because there's none playing at the moment, is there? If I put a C3 note in, along with the D3 note, I should get the 2 notes. So the D3 will play right at the end, C3 plays right at the beginning. So let's have a see what that sounds like, just to go quick. So can you hear what's happening there? One note's really short, and the second note, the D, that's long, but interrupted by the C, or by the beginning of the bar. So let's go into the note information and find out why. So for that I have to go to pattern, and when you first go into pattern, you'll be here at pattern name. So you scroll all the way through pattern to, and I can get it there. Right, so you've got, just after explode clipboard to tracks, you've got note, and then you've got event. Well, there's no events in the track because I've not started altering filters, I've not changed the tempo, etc. But I have put some notes in, so let's have a look at this. This is where, this is where the key is, I think, to getting your note to extend out beyond where it would normally go. So, track 1, the first bit, note is the thing we're going to look at. That little dash thing there, I think really represents a left arrow and right arrow, because if I scroll here, see those 2 changing in figures? I've got a note at bar 1, measure 1, or beat 1. There's a note, it's a C3. So if you remember in our grid record mode, we've got C3 note at the beginning of the bar, yeah, and a D3 note at the end, at the end of the fourth measure of that bar. So knowing that, C3, D3, one either end of it. If we go into this area in edit pattern to note, this little symbol here means you can skip through the notes of the sequence. So this C3 is bar 1, beat 1, or measure 1, 0, 0, 0, which is right at the very beginning. Yeah? Channel 1, and it's a C3 note. Yeah? If we change that to D3 and go back here on the pattern, we've put a D3 in there now, but it's in addition, sorry, it's not in addition, it's a replacement for the C3. Yeah, so because I've changed it to D3 rather than C3 now in the editor here, this note editor, that's how we change notes in a phrase, notes in a sequence. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into the editor and just add another note, which will be a G, and I'll put it here at the end. And then if I play the sequence, just have a listen to it. Yep. Two things have changed. The D3, that one no longer extends for a long time, and there's a new note, the G3. Yeah, and for that you can put, if I put a couple in like this just to show you what happens when you edit. Press play, record. Yeah. Go into the pattern editor, note. We can skip through these notes now if I move the cursor underneath there. So my first note's a D3, then we've got a G3, G3, I must have skipped a G3. Yeah, so sorry, first note, bar 1, measure 1, 0, 0, 0, which means right at the very beginning. It goes then to G3, bar 1, measure 1, 288, which is a fraction of, obviously, the next measure. Bar 1, measure 2, bar 1, measure 2, 288, bar 1, measure 4, 379. So this is how we can alter the timing of a note, for example, or the channel that's playing, the note value, the velocity, or this interesting one, which is its duration. So if we go back to I'll scroll around to the first note, 11000. This is this D3 on its own. We've got a duration of 077. If we change that duration to 1, just 1, that duration matches the thing above, so it's one measure it will play for now rather than being short. I'll show you what I mean. Right, if I get it playing, we go to grid now and just get rid of all these notes that we don't need and just use this one note. Yeah, so currently we've got so what's happening at the moment, if we go to the pattern here, is we've got a duration, a D3 note. That's the only note we've got on bar 1. That's bar 2, so we're not doing On bar 1, it's the only note we've got. D3, velocity 76, so if we want it a bit louder. Louder now because we've changed the velocity. And the duration. So if we take the duration right down, that's 0.19 long. Yeah. Take it to 2 and it plays for 2 measures. Drop that to 0, so it's exactly 2 measures it plays for. Now it plays for 3 measures. So there's only one event there, which is that note. Yeah, it's a bit loud, so we'll just turn it down a bit. Yeah. There we go. Back to pattern. Duration has gone back to 0.77 because we didn't save it. That's just one thing to watch for if you jump out of the note editor. And we'll put that back to 3 again. Now, you're going to see what's going to come next, aren't you? So change that to 4, which is full round. And all of a sudden, we've got our drone. If that duration is exactly at 4. See, slightly off 4, and then it goes silent. It's a bit weird. Yeah. Sorry, it's just going to play 4 again then, and then continue to loop. So, if you want the duration of the note to continue round and round and round, just like a drone, then when you're recording in grid, or you can do it in step mode as well. I'll show you that in a second. Whatever the note is. Let's try it with another note that would go with that, like let's try an A3, but we won't play that till that third beat. We'll try that there. We'll alter its duration. So this is the first note, the D. Go to the next note, which is the A. Duration really short, so let's change that duration up to 4 exactly, and let's see what happens with that. Okay. Now, if you listen carefully, you'll know that the other note dropped out. Why is that? If we go back to the grid recording section, we've got up here a note recorded, but the A is not there anymore. We've still got the D. The reason for that is if you're in pattern edit mode and you press a different note, that'll alter what's recorded. So if I'm just doing this, now I'll just change the duration to 4, and I press, yeah, see that's A3 there, so it changes. So just be aware that if you've got a pattern and you want to add a note, you must put the note in, come into here and edit it. Do you get that? Go to here. So we've got D3, we've got G3, now we'll put a G in, say there, yeah, and we've also got There we go, B. We'll have a B3 there. 1, 2, 3. I'll put it there. Yeah. So, if I press play now, now we've got the 4 notes in because I'm in pattern grid mode. Yeah, I wasn't in the edit. If you go to the edit and change it, it just changes there. Yeah. Once you started to edit the note, it'll change it there. Double click stop doesn't work here to change that back to 0. You have to literally physically go there, go back to the beginning beat, the beginning bar, take that to 0, unless you want that for timing. And then you can step through your notes. Yeah, so the first note, then second note, third note, fourth note. Yeah, so it's taking me a time to get my head around how this thing works in this grid mode. This helps to have a visual representation of when the note's being played, but I haven't got all the notes on there at the same time. It's like I have to like skip through. There's a C, there's a D, no E, no F, no, oh there's a G, A, oh there's a B, oh there's no C. And that's all up and down the keyboard. So what if you put an A1 in and you don't know? That's why if you go to pattern edit, you can go into here. That's why it's handy, because you can then skip through each of the notes, you see. So there you've got a C3 and a D3, C3 and D3, same time period, same length. So those two play as a drone. This G3 is only 0.77, so again we can alter that. Yeah. And then go to the next note, which is 0.77 again. Yeah, so now if we play, yeah, so that'll now continue playing as a drone, as a pattern, if you save the pattern. Yeah. So if I press this now, it'll say save pattern 2, and then I can put it somewhere. Yeah, so I'll put it there, because there's something else to show you as well. Save pattern 2 there. Yes, enter to overwrite, it's done. Now go to pattern edit, scroll right back, alter the name. I usually call it my, just so I know which ones I've edited. My sled, there we go, that's fine. So now it's called my sled. Okay. So that gets you there. So then you can do other stuff. So I thought then now if we go back to this grid edit, go to the pattern, scroll through to the notes. There you go, note. No, I wasn't going to go here first, I apologise. I was going to go to there and look for these notes and take them off, just so that we only have one note again. Take that off. Right, so we've just got a C. We'll put the velocity up to there. So all we should have now so that's a continual going round of that. Yeah. So then you were talking about the ARP as well, I think. This video's already half an hour long. Should I continue? Maybe. You can always turn off if you don't want to watch anymore. And now I'm going to just have a look at use of the ARP once you've got a long playing drone note going. So that then we have to go to the preset edit. So I'm going to play it. In fact, shall we save it first? I'll save it first. I'll save make sure it says save pattern as well, because if you haven't altered the pattern, you press save, it'll try and save the preset. So I'll save it to the same place. Hooray! So now, there we go. Yeah, just have a look at, yeah. There we go, that's the one, isn't it? Right, so, play that. Yeah, so that'll just play that continually. Now, the first thing to have a look at, I suppose, is the preset. Because if we don't want that preset to play when that pattern's on, we want a different preset, then we need to try a different one. Yep. Now there's other features that can affect how this thing plays. Should I turn off the metronome, or do you like it? I think I'll turn it off. There we go. Stop. And play. The reason that didn't start playing straight away, you see it's 1.2 there, so it's bar 1, measure 2, silent. Why? Because the only note we've got at the moment is bar 1, measure 1. That's why. So that's why it doesn't start straight away. If we go here, remember I said before, to reset you press stop twice. Takes it back to 1-1. Now it plays from the beginning. So that's just something to watch for. Yeah. Now what I'm going to play with now is the settings for the voice. Attack, sustain, well it's attack and decay, and it's the sustain release ADSR. But the attack, decay, sustain and release will alter how the sound plays through that transition to coming back round and the loop back again. So it'll go all the way through and then come back round again. So depending on how you set it, will depend on how it plays through. And the filter envelope, the third envelope, which is available, they all can be set like to repeat through, altered, shall we say. And all these settings do change it. So you have to find the sound, which I'm sure you will do, but like if I put the release time really long, so when you stop the track it continues to go, that can sometimes blend in, you know, from one bar to repeat to the next, one bar repeat to the next. Oh, that was something else I was going to say that you might want to know about. Length. Let's go to the length of the bar and put that to 2. Yeah. Go to grid mode. and then if we move the cursor to the way, there we go. Right, so you've got bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, so you can skip through the location here. So bar 2 actually has a note on it somewhere, I think. Let's go to edit. Sorry about the silly noise. Let's just drop the release off. Put that off. MIDI stop all notes. Right, so what on earth have I done there? Because I'm this is one of the things, I'm in grid mode here, ready to record, and I've just put a load of notes on. I don't want all them notes on. Did I do it for any of the other ones? No, okay, that's fine then. Right, so I was going here to show you about the duration of the note, so extending it out. If I go back to bar 1, which one, D3, which one has, is it C? Yeah, C, right, so C3 has the note. Go into edit pattern, duration 4, yeah. Now because we're on, stop, go to real-time record, length 2, now because we've got a length of 2 bars to record, if I press play, oh, I forgot to restart it at the beginning, so let's do that. Let's go back to the beginning, bar 1, measure 1. Oh, no, the reason it wasn't playing is because I've turned the volume right down. That preset's got a long what's it, so I'll just drop it back to this one. Orion. Right, so I apologise for the confusion. What I'm showing you here, try again, is I've changed length to 2. But the note is only valid for 4 measures, which is in 4/4 time. If you got 4/4 time, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, duration 4. It's 4 of those, yeah. That changes if you go to 3/4 time or to 7/8 time or whatever other time measure you want to record in. That duration there needs to match the 4 of the 4/4 time, the 3 of the 3/4 time, for how long it plays and then repeats round. Yeah, so watch for that. That's what I'll show you now. If we're going to do a recording which is 2 bars long and we want it to repeat round, if we've only got a duration of 4 there, what should happen, if I've got this right, is did I change that preset? Oh right, there we go. Yeah, so we've got that plays, but it stops because it's only on 4 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, then stop. Yeah. So to have a 2 bar note, I have to go edit pattern, go to duration, and change that to 8. Yeah. So then we play it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. See? So, in fact, I could even have a look at it here, I suppose. See how we've got, you can use the bar beat thing there. So it's going round now. It's constantly going because we've changed that duration to 8. Drop it down to 7. And then when it comes back round again, it'll shut off early. It should be 2, 3. Yeah, and then it shuts off. Yeah, so that number there, the duration corresponds to the measures. The number of measures you want it to play through. So we'll drop that to 8, say. And now we're just going to do the ARP. So that means going into the preset and editing the preset. Let's go along to where the ARP function is. Once I've got preset edit on, I can use these shortcuts. Go to ARP, It's off at the moment, so I can turn that on. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like now, if it sounds any different. Okay, so now it's playing the ARP. So let's scroll through ARP. We've got a note value there. So that note value now is 1-1, which is a full note being played, whatever note length it is. The reason it's not doing is because it's an arpeggiator, so it's pressing that note, then that note, then that note, then that note, in a pattern. It's not just holding a note. Pattern speed, the pattern that's playing. Multiplied. Gate 1%, so let's extend this gate a bit. So all of a sudden go over 50% on the gate and we get more of the sound playing for longer. And you can hear it sounds slightly different depending on your gate setting, so you can play with that. Extension intervals, just the type of how many notes you can add notes in with the extension, etc. That's covered in another place on the manual. Now quantize means it'll hit directly on the bar and beat. Sorry, directly on the beat rather than when you play it. But if you notice, we've got a funny thing going on now because it's quantized. It's a bit unusual how this sort of works. I don't understand it fully, but on key sync it'll keep going round. If it's on quantized, it stops. So if we scroll back to note value and go to 2-1, let's see what happens if that changes anything. And now it's completely silent. Oh, there we go. Just got a little, yeah. So your note value affects, even though you've got a drone originally, the note value affects that. So take it right to the smallest note we can have, which is 1/32. So if you're going to use the arpeggiator with this, you need to look at your note value. Duration, I've not used, but that was something different then, wasn't it? It sounded like it. It sounded like it played the sequence beyond what it normally played. So let's drop the duration right down. So it sounds like it just sort of stops off a little bit. Got a dodgy cable in there. Need a new cable. I'll repair that one. Let's try a short duration. So with those settings you can see in the arpeggiator, you've got a number of settings now you can alter to change how it sounds when you play. There's a delay at the end of the arpeggiator you can add on. I'll leave you to explore and discover those yourselves. And you've got recycle back through the arpeggiator. That I don't know how that affects it yet. Latch obviously just keeps it going all the time. You don't even need the sequencer playing then. and your key range, so you could do this just for a short section of the keyboard and then be able to play without the arpeggiator in other places. Yeah, so if I drop that right down to, say, C3, all of a sudden there's F. Yeah, so if that's low down, it won't play up high. And you can put that onto one key, or you could extend it out. It doesn't really matter. That's your sort of setting where the arpeggiator will work. So if we put it back out to G8 again, yeah, let's play the sequence. Oh, I just pressed stop. Pressing stop will not play the sequence. Note to self. Play. Oops. Right, I think we're getting near the end of this because I'm getting tired. Right, so, sorry about that. The arpeggiator will work with the drone if you change the status to off. It won't work anymore, and then you can just play that single drone note in theory. Yeah, and you can play and have fun with so have fun. Play safe, and I'll let you know if I find anything else, and let me know if you've got any more questions. I hope that helps.